his brother, William Samoei Ruto, who is his partner in the broad-based government. Because I don't know if there's anyone else. Actually, what would happen is that the votes in that region would get scattered to a very large extent. And I do not see who else would come to whip the people to actually vote for William Ruto. The government is banking a lot on his goodwill. So should he take leave and say, I don't want to participate in active politics. So William Ruto would find himself, and the government would find themselves in a lot of problems. I do not see who is this person who is going to fill in the shoes, and this person who is actually going to command the kind of respect and clout that Raila Odinga continues to command from that region. But then this another interesting dimension that we need to look at, these matters from in the Muli. The fact that we have prayed our politics in a tribal ethnic manner throughout, since even Raila Odinga took over from his father. And that seems to be changing now with the awakening or the reawakening, and even the active voice of the young people that we continue to see in this country. It also means that some of the dynamics that have controlled our politics are not going to play that key role in the future. And therefore, in as much as we are banking, or the government is banking on Raila Odinga, I think is just because we want to play old school kind of politics. Because if we are to look at politics dynamically and the way even the young people are coming out and talking to everyone, did you see the Thanksgiving mass or service somewhere in Ruiru? And I know that's something we also discussed last week when I was here. And the young people continue to organize. The young people are organizing. The young people are coming together, and they're speaking in one voice. So even as we look at Raila Odinga, his continued, stamina, and his continued magnanimity, and all these things that he continues to do as far as politics, Kenyan politics is concerned. Let's also remember that the young people do not reason. The young people do not see politics that way. Okay. Whipping people and mobilizing people around ethnicity is going to be very difficult moving forward.
That's interesting, because that's the main story on the front page of the People Daily, how Kenya can finally break free from the tribal cocoon. Yeah. And interestingly, they use the image of Raila Odinga on one side and President William Ruto on the other. That's a big story there, talking about how the Gen Z vote could change that.
I want to tell you this, my friend Indimuli. That is possible, and it is a welcome move. The only challenge that I see myself, if for the last 1 week we were doing the continuous voter registration, and we called on the young people and everyone, I remember we did that rallying call here on this bench, and we still didn't get the numbers. We expected the young people to come out in large numbers. Do you know we only registered 4,000 in the entire country, 4,000 plus in the entire country. That is very serious.
4,000. That's a level of...
exactly. A place like Nyeri, where I come from, we only registered 30. The other places like Lamu, where they registered 1. So when you look at it that way, I think I still want to remind my younger brothers and sisters that this time round, 2017, it will not be about coming out to the streets to protest, to agitate, to speak in one voice like they have done. It is going to be about coming out to vote. Right. So your weapon is the vote. Right. So we need to come out and vote in large numbers if we are really going to make a difference.
What do you think could be the problem? Because this kind of turnout is not what we expected. We can see the youth, and we'll come to that story, because they're still able to marshal numbers. They're still able to come through for one of their own in a very big way. Yeah. But when it comes to registering as voters, why the reluctance? And we don't understand that. We discussed it on Monday, but...
Exactly. I think I'll say certain things. Number one, this seems to be a bit of voter apathy, or just generally, let's just call it apathy. Why? When the young people came out, we silenced them. And the means and ways we used to silence them, we are not good. You know, they were killed, they were disappeared, they were maimed, all those things that happened to them. And there could be, there's a possibility that majority of those young people feel defranchised. They feel angered, they feel hopeless, and maybe they even wonder, does it even make sense to vote? So I think that has actually contributed, one. And mine, to remedy that, or even my call to the young people would be, we know, we feel you, we understand. And it is painful. What you went through was a very painful experience, but all is not lost. Because again, if we say that because of that, the young people will not come out to register as voters, what we are saying is that we might as well be agreeing or endorsing the wrong leaders in the next general election. So it is very important that the young people get their voters card and come out to vote, you know, in the course of whatever. The other thing that could have contributed, let's agree that we still have a huge number of young people who are sitting for their KCSE, no KCSE, I mean grade, the high school, the end of high school exam.
It's still KCSE.
KCSE, still KCSE. And those young people are still in school. Most of them, I know they have their IDs. I've been engaging a couple of them, but they can only go to the registration centers after they are done with their exams. So again, we might see an increase when they finish their examinations.
All right.
But you remember, there's something, just a quick one. Let's look at what happened in 2022, because you and I were actively involved. We had 21.2 million registered voters. 7.1 million voters voted for Ruto. 6.9 voted for Raila. Wajakoya was number 3, and he got 61,000 votes, 61,000 plus. Then number 4 was Mwaure with 31,000 votes. Do you know why? Because we always create a two-horse race. And even in this contest, I think I know who the who the horses are. So from the 21.2 million votes, if you add all these numbers that I've given you, it means about 8 million voters of 8 million registered voters did not cast their vote. Why? If you engage a lot of young people, they say, you know, Cathy, we looked and we saw the two options that were presented to us. And the two options were either William Ruto Gachagua or Raila Odinga and Martha Karua. And they didn't feel represented. Most of them, and it is the young people who didn't vote even that time. So if we look at those numbers, really, we don't want the same to be repeated in 2017. Right.
And the question on the front page, or rather, whatever the People Daily is trying to analyze here, is whether or not Kenya can actually break free from the tribal cocoon